13 years, and now she's on her own, doing her own thing with events. Alla, tell everyone how you're doing.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me here today, Erica. Appreciate it.
So Alla, since you have 13 years of experience and you're on your own now, A Star Events is your company. How is it being out on your own, and what's the difference between being on your own and working with other people or a company, another company?
The best part, I've been thinking about it. Um, what is it to have your own company? I think the best part is to be able to choose who you want to and don't want to work with. The best part is that you can, as a consultant, you can actually you can influence, and you can consult and help and guide through our industry. So having this power power of doing what you actually want, that's totally worth it, worth of all the obstacles that I went through. So
That sounds great. I mean, I like being in control of my day. I like being in control of who I allow myself to work with, who I allow to work with me, having that power. It feels really good.
exactly, yeah, being your own boss. I mean, it even sounds so cool. When people ask, like, especially my grandmother, she's like, so remind me, who do you work for? Like, are they okay that you came here for vacation? And I'm like, hey, I'm actually my own boss. So I can take vacation whenever I want.
I like the sound of that, vacation whenever you want.
Mhm.
So, what was it that make you wanted to go out on your own and create a star event?
So my mom was actually probably the biggest inspiration, because she's been pushing me to do and to start doing my own thing for the past few years now. And I've been working for a small company that was producing a conference, in-person conference, very big one, in the Bay Area in San Francisco. And at the same time, we've been doing a virtual event. So I had kind of sort of experience in both types of events for the past 6 years. And my mom was telling me, hey, you're so good at it, why don't you start doing your own thing? Because I would say, so my company is doing that and I think we should do that, but it's not my company per se, so I don't have a way to leverage something, and she said, you should start doing your own thing. And I like, hey mom, nah, I don't want to do that. It's like, it's too much, it's overwhelming. I look at my CEO and I understand that I would never take up something like that. And she said, well, there are different ways to do it, just think about it. So fast forward, the company was actually doing okay during COVID, but it got shut down, not because of COVID, to be honest. There were slightly different reasons, but that was a magic kick. That was a magic kick for me, because I was like, first of all, of course, shocked, because you're losing your job in the COVID year. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people experienced that, but that was a savior for me. I lost my job. I started looking for a new job and I couldn't find anything. And I was like, I cannot believe, with my experience, oh my God, with my expertise, and people still don't hire me. There were a lot of like close job offerings, but I mean, I couldn't get it. So I actually what I started doing, I call it creating waves, like a, um, I start posting on LinkedIn just about what I know. I start participating in lots of conversations about our industry, about virtual events specifically, and just giving my 5 cents here, there, like 2 cents here and there. And people start expressing interest in what I actually do and why I do it, and why I know so much about it. So I started having lots of conversations. Then I became really good friends with Hey Summit, which you don't know is like an amazing platform, amazing people that work at this company. So they introduced me to this amazing course that they had that time, virtual architect, virtual events architect, or something like that, where I met you, by the way, and that's how we got connected. And it was an amazing community of people, like all sorts of people, from experts to people who were just starting and exploring this opportunity of virtual events. So I started hanging out in this community and helping out here and there, and that's how I got my first client. It was basically a person who using Hey Summit platform. He liked what I was posting about and recommending. We got into chat, and I was like, okay, well, I'll help you. And he hired me. So we did together. It was his second virtual event, and then another client popped through LinkedIn messages, and I got connected with another amazing person, and so on and so forth. So it started like a snowball, but it started only because I started creating all these waves, and like start participating in conversations. So I would say it's a lot of work that require you to get somewhere where people can notice you, but at the same time, don't be. I don't want to recommend to be right into your face, like when people are too much, too pushy, too salesy. So there was a really great advice during this course at the Hey Summit, where the mentor was actually saying, try with the storytell and try with very personal touch instead of just pushing and selling something. Like never sell off the bat. So that's how it all started. And I'm at the point right now where I don't even apply or bid for any projects. Clients come to me. So yay! I mean, that makes me so grateful and optimistic about our industry in general. So yeah, having A-star events is amazing.
That is great. It's amazing that you lost your job, you didn't give up. Your mom was very supportive, telling you that she believed in you, that you could do your own thing. And you know what? I love your stories. I'm glad we met through Hey Summit. Every time we've met, we've talked, you always tell me great stories. Um, I was talking to you earlier off camera about having some ebooks or even having some regular books because your stories are adventures in what you do. So I get to live through you through your stories. That's why I'm telling you this. Uh, um, Talking to people online, getting to know them, and they're asking you to host your events. So how do you come up with your pricing? Is it from working at your old job, and you just brought it into what you do now, or is there some kind of math involved?
Do you mean pricing? How do I charge for my services, or the pricing for the events for my
Uh,
services?
Yep, both, because there's so many models out there, charging speakers to speak,
Mhm,
charging attendees to attend, finding sponsorships. Uh,
mhm.
yeah.
Got you. Well, I'll start with the pricing within the events. If we're talking about setting up a price for your attendance, I mean, for the ticket or registration, right? So I know that at the beginning of 2020, not beginning, at the end of 2020, when we finally figured out that it's actually okay to sell content online. Not, because before COVID, we were buying something online, like content. We would pay, let's say, New York Times subscription, right? Someone would pay like $5 a month to read articles. So why not to pay for something that is for you, specifically for your industry, specifically to make your for something that you need like professionally, right? So we realize that it's okay to sell and to charge for the content that we produce, because so much falls into that. So I would say, when you're charging for your event, this is math. So you just you just need to go a little bit backwards. Just to see how much you are spending, and what is going to be the return on that. That's as easy as as it gets. So if you invested, I don't know, $1 million, so go from there. See how many people you want your event to attend and how much you want to charge them. As far as for the speakers fees, at my previous company that we had this golden rule that we never pay our speakers. We would never pay them any like established fees. Instead, what we would offer, if there's like no way the speaker speaks for free, we would find ways to work around it. For instance, we would pay for their travel expenses. For instance, we would fly them. We would pay for their hotel accommodation. I've never seen a speaker saying no to that, to be honest. There was an instance of one of the speakers who said, if you don't want to pay speaking fees, please make a donation to particular like company or something like that, foundation. Then there was another case where we have discussed, we bought books. So the speaker just released a new book. So it was a great moment for them to speak at our event and promote their book. And we would buy out, let's say, 200 books that we would give away at our event. So that was some sort of like a fee, but it would still have more value than just handing over cash. Another way to work with speakers, and that's my favorite, is actually the referral fees. So you can just, and because you need to leverage your speakers, you need to work them for you actually. So it's like it's a two-way partnerships. When you just set up a discount code and you share it with the speaker, and then they get another percentage, like basically revenue share from it. So that's another smart way how you can lure in speaker to talk at your event, and both winning at this point, because you're using their influence to promote your event, and at the same time you kind of paying them for selling your tickets. But again, it works for events that you charge for. There are still plenty of free events, and you need to be a little bit more creative there. So yeah, that's how I look, and how I work with the events. And of course, you need to go from the budget. What is the budget of the event? How much invested and how much the client wants to in return.
I totally understand that. Last year you were here with us. You spoke a lot about having your goals written down and working with that. So how do you come up with the budget for your event? When I first worked with a client, I wanted to charge like $5,000, but he talked me down to 500. And I done everything. I set up everything using Hey Summit and Zoom. I set up everything within that day. And he's like, wow, I can't believe you did it. And it's like, it's not hard. It's automation. Automation is your friend. And he's like, I can understand why you're worth this, but thanks for doing it for 500. And I feel like, oh, he just got over on me. But I'm learning my lesson. So I'm doing things myself. I'm sure a lot of people love automation, but I do buy a lot of tools because I am addicted to AppSumo. How can I come up with the budget?
You mean how you come up with the formula, how much you charge for what you do? That's what you mean? Okay, so let's start with a little bit of love coaching. So first of all, what are you charging? You're not charging for sitting there and like connecting the dots in software. I mean, that too, but let's start from the very beginning. It's a mindset. First of all, it's a mindset. You charge for your experience. You charge for your time. You charge for what you really, really good at. You charge for what you already spent. How much do you spend for all this software at AppSumo? You're spending your own dime, right? And then you spend hours to learn how to use that. So that's what you're charging for. And when people trying to rob you, and oh my God, there are so many people using freelancers just because, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. But again, let's go back to what we started talking about at the very beginning of our conversation. You are your own boss. So I know that sometimes in our life, $500, that's you need this money, you know, that you think you're not in the position where you can say, nah, no, thank you. But believe me, telling that once will make you feel like very probably like you'll have a very high anxiety saying no to someone who wants to give you money. But then you just think about it this way, like, why they are diminishing me like this. Like, I spent so many hours, so much money on learning and studying and trying to figure this out, and they are giving me $500 for that. No, that's how you start setting up your value. First of all, I would recommend in our industry, for any freelancers out there, for any consultants, I would highly encourage you to work for not the fixed price, but for hourly rate. It doesn't mean that you have to you have to lie to your client. No way. Please do not lie. Do not add extra hours for something that you didn't do. Believe me, in our industry, there is never 1-2 hours. Like, it's never like that, because there is always like additional things are popping constantly. So you will have enough hours, but I do charge hourly, and that's like the biggest thing that actually saved my budget. So start charging hourly, set the rate at the you can set first of all, it depends on what you do. For instance, for me, if it's only like a couple of hours a week and it's only consultation, so all I do is just talk to you and I explain how things are done and what are the best way and use cases, blah, blah, blah. And I create somewhat follow-up documentation. That's one price, because it's only 2 hours and I can go as high as I want. If we're talking about something like setting, configuring the platform, that I know it will take you maybe 2 hours because you are professional at this. But sometimes the client will go back and forth with you and they said, oh, that's cool, but how about fixing this, fixing that, blah, 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 blah. Every time, you know, it's going to happen. You don't want to limit yourself to $500. You say, no, it's going to be so and so. This is going to be my rate for an hour. And that's how many hours it took me to get where we are. That's it. So, and as for the price, well, it's up to you. What is your worth? If you need more like specific numbers, just sit and count how much you spend on all the AppSumo automation tools, how many hours you spend on that, and just put your price tag on it.
Sounds like a great idea. I was a freelancer. I was a graphic designer. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into virtual events is another way for me to do more graphic design. I love
Mm-hmm.
setting up platforms and coming up with banner designs. I love layout design. But when I first started, and the guy who paid me the 500, he told me that he wasn't sure about someone who hasn't hosted an event for other people before. I've hosted for
Mm-hmm.
myself, but that was my first time hosting for someone else. So I
Hmm.
wanted to show what I could do so I could get a testimonial, so I could get a case study. And I got that. It was just like, wow. But when he said it, I could see why you were worth the 5,000 I asked for. And this is like, oh, okay. I feel like I just got played.
Yeah, yeah, that's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, maybe you never hosted it for anyone else, but then again, we need to if there is an opportunity for this conversation with potential client, I suggest not even getting into that, because believe me, there are a lot of stingy people who are trying to play you, a lot of those, but there are exactly same amount of people who are ready to pay you $5,000 and maybe even more, and hire you again and again and again, because they see the potential, not even potential, they see how good you are, because that's the beauty of freelancing and consulting. If I don't like what you did for me, we're just parted away, so I don't have to hire you again. That's why in our industry, I see that people will start hiring like in-house event people, and they will lean towards freelancers at this point.
I should say a freelancer is a knight without a king. So if you are a freelancer nowadays, you are an employee without a company.
Yep.
So it is best to be a business owner or an agency owner, and make it known that you are your own boss. Don't say that you're working for people. Say that you are partnering with them. That you are their partner.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah. So hosting your first event without a company, you're on your own.
Mhm.
How did it go? Was it fun? Was it exciting? Was it something to say, yeah, my mom was right. I can do this.
Well, to be honest, like I didn't like host anything. I didn't do my own events. I worked with clients who I helped to set everything up. Well, my very first client, he definitely made more money. He sold more tickets, and he was able to increase his revenue, which was his goal, and to have more attendees. He wanted to increase his list of uh, mailing list, basically. So there is that. Then there was this huge event in Barcelona that we did, but that was a whole different level of events, because it was a true hybrid. And yes, it was a bit scary because it's a first in-person event, and it's like thousands of people in-person event. And at the same time, the task was to lift off the whole like virtual component of it, but make it actually as close to in-person event as possible. The main obstacle was that by the time I joined the team, uh, which actually, a funny fact, was consistent of um, only freelancers. The whole team, 100% freelancers, no in-house event or marketing people. So that was a very interesting experience. So we did that. So I was basically doing the whole virtual thing by myself. And as I mentioned, because I joined later, the choice of the platform was already made. So I didn't have any chance to weigh in and recommend something else. So I had to work with whatever was there, basically. But that was scary because the platform uh, did not have any requirements that I would have, that I would demand from the platform. So I had to work with whatever I was given. That was scary. That was pretty scary because the platform did not have any registration process. So that was a very interesting challenge to figure out how do we register and how do we capture anyone who joins us live, virtually live. So that was very interesting. Also, we wanted to see how many people went through our booth, and that was semi-virtual component as well, because we just wanted lead capture, basically. That was some that requires some brains and brainstorms, a lot of brainstorms actually. How do we do that? We did stream live concerts from our booth, and when I say booth, just a little correction, the booth is the size of a football field. So that's the booth we're talking about. We're not talking about like a 10 by 6 booth here. So we had live concerts, and we had a live show. We had producers from morning show working with us, basically creating the whole experience on the live stage, that we obviously will broadcasted it live to our online platform. And my favorite part that we talked earlier today, the telepresence bots. So that was the main component of the hybrid part of the event, because what was happening, all those telepresence bots, they were basically roaming around our space. And anyone from any part of the world, they could connect through the bot and walk through the booth, and they could talk to someone. They could do the demos at our exhibitors tables, desks. That was the fun part. Some exhibitors who couldn't make it to Barcelona at the very last moment, they rented those bots, and they did demos with the in-person attendees. So that was very fun part as well. So that was a truly hybrid experience for me, not just the streaming part to watch it online. But yeah, having those bots, probably the only hybrid experience I've ever seen, when two audiences are actually merged in one experience, when you have virtual and when you have in-person attendees, exhibitors, anyone pretty much having this experience together, and having meeting rooms where people were able to do Zoom meetings as well as in-person meetings. So yeah, but that was the biggest and first event for me in 2021. And yeah, that was that was exciting and scary, and I don't know, all spectrum of emotions pretty much, and a lot of sleepless nights. Oh, I'm sorry, Erica, I cannot
Oh,
hear you.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, I can imagine going someplace and then having to learn a new platform. How long did you have to learn that new platform?
So, well, I wouldn't even call it a platform. You know, it's not a platform in a conventional way, to be honest. It was just a 3D replica of our booth. There was nothing, absolutely nothing to learn about it, because the platform was not, the platform didn't have anything. So, so it's, yeah, but usually, we implemented different platform. We implemented Visible as our registration element. So we use that for tracking our actually traffic, the foot traffic. We use their API for the lead retrieval. For our exhibitors, we use their widget to register everyone who wanted to watch sessions online. And we use them for, what else did we use them for? Can't remember now. But yeah, but the other platform, yeah, there was absolutely nothing to learn about. But to be honest, I'm not really afraid to learn about new platforms, because they are all the same. The functionality of every platform these days is the same. It's just different how they charge for it. And I think every platform went to the whole different level of data. At this point, the data is amazing pretty much with any platform today. If you look, they harvest pretty much everything, and that's what you need. The other things is just integration, the marketing integration, how it integrates with your software, with your CRM, and just user experience. That these are probably three things that I look at when I evaluate and when I learn the platform. But yeah, pretty much every platform is the same these days.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if you had a favorite platform, but it seems like they all do kind of blend in together.
They do blend in together, but I'm a bit biased probably. I do love Brella a lot, because I think I have the most experience using and setting up this platform, and I just love the simplicity. So simple. There are no like all these customization. Sometimes some clients can go like too far with customizing everything, but sometimes you don't even need that for your event. Depends on the event, obviously. So Brella is probably one of the favorites, and Excel events. Those guys simplified everything to the minimum, like to exactly what you need. And I like their pricing pricing policy. So it makes sense. But what I've noticed, to be honest, the trend among corporations, like large companies, for instance, there was a Slack event, I think, when was it, at the end of mid-December, can't remember right now. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not wrong, they built their own platform. So they did not use anyone else. I think it was their own platform. I know that they worked with Hopin at some point, but I think they used their own platform. I think Salesforce doing their events through their own platform as well. So I think because there is no unicorn platform, there is no platform that will basically answer all your questions or your requirements, satisfy all your requirements. So companies like Slack and Salesforce, they can afford hiring engineers and building something that they want. And I think it's going to be much cheaper than actually paying for a platform at this point.
Like, wow. I do have a favorite, AirMeet. I've been using Hey Summit
Mm,
with AirMeet, but I like that I can also use Book Like a Boss with AirMeet.
mm,
Um, I use Zoom for my interviews, but I've been talking with the AirMeet developers, and they're gonna figure out a way to give me one link that I could use for my interviews, and maybe a link that I could have for my just meetings. So, and I can run that through Book Like a Boss, and it'll be an automated setup, like how
mm,
I got you to book to be on the show today. Um,
mhm,
yeah. Oh, I wanted to bring up paid hourly. As a graphic designer, I was told by Blair Enns and Chris Doe,
mhm,
favorite designers of mine, that you should have a flat fee. But as
mhm,
you just stated, that platforms have a minimum fee also. Like,
mhm,
say we're using AirMeet, I can have like 1,000 people on for free, and then after 1,000, they'll charge me $1 per person.
mhm.
So would you add that on to your client, or would that be included?
I usually, like, I don't buy anything. Like, I don't buy software. I don't invest in software. I would recommend to pick the software. I would explain why you need to use that and how it will benefit to your event. And then I will just let the client deal with that. I don't invest my own money into that. I don't see why would I do that, to be honest. Because I see why you would do that, because you run your own events, and you are using it. I don't run my own events. I told you I'm too lazy and too busy to do my own thing. Even though I know inside and out how to do that, and man, nah, I'm not doing this. So that's why I would totally understand why you would do that. And if you are offering to use your software for their event, so you basically your licensing. So I don't know. It's again, it depends how much how much did you pay for it, how much the client is going to use it, but it definitely have to be baked into your agreement. um Absolutely, yeah. I don't know how much, like, how much would you add on top of what you already paid, to be honest. Yeah, it's so individual. Like, you need to look at the usage and how many hours and how many like additional stuff you need to like include for this event and stuff like that. It's so individual.
I understand that. You definitely given me a good idea, and I do think that you should host your own events because when I met you, you told me how you use Hey Summit, and I thought that was brilliant. How your tickets are set up with the one, and then you duplicate the page, and then there's an upsell, and it goes with your email. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes. Even if you're just say, hey, this is my affiliate link. When you join this affiliate link or buy through this affiliate link, I will show you how I set up Hey Summit because I
Mhm.
think people pay you for that.
Well, yeah, that was a team effort. That was I think it was a little bit overcomplicated, but that's not even event experience. That's purely like marketing slash sales experience. You come with ideas like that from basically not having any budgets. And yeah, you just get creative. You just get creative, like how can you milk this cow? how you can how you can get so creative and create this amazing experience and ideas. But yeah, it's marketing. To pick up ideas like that, I strongly recommend attending more marketing events, because there are a lot of people who are giving you these ideas, especially not like large companies. Large companies never reveal any secrets or tactics, but listen to something like small agencies or like experts, consultants. They usually give you an amazing use cases, how you can implement this or that strategy, and they share something like that. So I definitely recommend attending growth marketing events for these kind of tricks, where you can learn about um, building your funnel, like how do you build your funnel for this or that. User psychology, this is purely that example that you mentioned was built on user psychology. Here's a trick for you for free. What do you do when you see the word sale? You buy it, right? If that is not enough, you put a counter, Jesus Christ, count clock. So basically countdown. Jesus Christ, countdown. You put in countdown there, and if it says that your discount expires in like 1 hour, what you're gonna do, you're gonna buy it. So it's a simple user psychology. That's it. And another tip for all your events: always, always, always do discounts. If you want to sell your event, discount. Even if your event is like $100, make, I don't know, 10% discount. People will most likely buy discounted tickets rather than full price. And there's so many reasons to do discounts, like Valentine's Day. There you go. Go make it your sale, seasonal sale, Christmas. I don't know, a day of sunglasses, something like that.
You're going against everything I've learned in graphic design, but I know I should listen to you because I know that you're brilliant. Like, I lost the kind of person that if she tells you something, it's the truth and you should follow through. So yeah, I'm definitely going to consider that. Um, I have some events coming up, and I did not want to discount, but hearing you say it, and I feel that you believe that, so I believe you.
Well, just think about it from this perspective. Do you want to sell full price tickets, or you don't want to sell any tickets? Do you want zero, or do you want to have like half price, so like 15 off percent? And I mean, just think about it.
Yeah. It's for me, it was I struggled with a long time with when was some money better than no money.
Hmm.
So yeah. So
Exactly.
like I said, I got paid that $500. Well, I actually got paid 485, something like that, because PayPal took a percent. But
Oh,
I was very disappointed about that.
just let it go. Just let it go.
It was like 2 years ago. So
Yeah. Yeah. So you see, because it's a whole different it's a different perspective. First of all, one thing, you're not discounting your services, you're discounting tickets. Because if I hire you and you tell me like I have a discount for my services, I would be like, what? That's kind of strange. But again, like, why not? Especially when you're doing some kind of promotional campaign. Let's say I'm participating in your event, and hey, first two people who will email me, I'll give you like a free consultation. That's what it is. So when you're selling your goods, that's a completely different thing. There's labor that you actually like investing into doing something, and there is a result of something. So that's a whole different perspective. So when you're selling tickets, don't think about it that you are selling something for less. You're not selling it for less. You're just making more sense in it. And first of all, yes, put a discount tag, create a few tiers of the tickets, create seasonal discount, but never afraid to raise your price. That's the trick. Again, it's a simple mathematics. So you just put the price tag $100. The next month it's $150, but put a discount there, and so on and so on. So just raise and raise and raise it. So it's just the psychology. People are falling for discounts. That's it.
all right, I understand better now.
Yeah.
Ticket prices are different than services, and lowering your ticket prices, like having early bird specials, or just because like Christmas or Black Fridays coming up.
Mhm.
I get it. I understand
Yeah. Yeah, just think
it.
about it. Black Friday, like, think about how much money the e-commerce or just commerce companies are like making. If you go to, let's say, to Target on Black Friday, you bought like TV, let's say, instead of $600 for $300, but the workers didn't make less money, right? So that's,
True.
yeah.
So having your events in person, and COVID came and you lost your job and you went to virtual, are you going to go back to in person? Are you uh are you ready for it?
Definitely.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'm not just ready. I've been doing it for the 2021. It was like a good mixture of like in-person and virtual events for sure. So the Barcelona was in-person event. I was there. I was like doing stuff with like seeing people, like building the whole thing. Then I just came back from Las Vegas between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was doing in-person product launch. So we preset everything because I was in particular in charge of driving basically butts in the seats because we did a lot of different activations, but the goal was to basically have eyes on the brand. And the second goal was to get as many demos of the product as possible, in-person demos, not virtual, in person. So we had the four, 3 or 4 different locations where we were doing that. And there was a strategy in place. How do we reach out to these people? The promotional outreach, the copies, how do we invite people to register to attend, and so on and so forth. So I'm pretty ready. And I think a lot of platforms, I've been telling that to some of my friend platforms, start focusing on in-person events, because lots of platforms actually went so far into virtual that they are forgetting about in-person event needs, because even we progressed with virtual events, um, in person is not, it's still here, people still doing it, maybe not as, maybe it's not as popular as it used to pre-COVID, but right now I see that a lot of platforms is just lacking simple features for in-person events, and I'm like, hey guys, it's 2022 and you don't have this and that. That's surprising. So I think, my advice to the platforms and to consultants and event marketers, just, yeah, virtual events, all great, but do not forget about in-person events. They're going to be here, they are here, they're not going anywhere. So just be vigilant on what actually is happening and what is on demand for the in-person attendees. And it's not, I'm not talking about the safety and all that, I'm talking more about like driving people to the events and having an amazing experience for them. So yeah, in-person events rock.
I believe it. I miss it. Still a little scared. One of my favorite events here in South Carolina is Fall for Greenville. It's when a bunch of restaurants come out, hang out in the streets, and you walk in the middle of the road. You eat, drink, be merry, and
Mhm.
walk around and do it again.
Oh.
It is very fun. Um, yeah, I miss doing stuff like that, but
Mhm.
still just a little scared. But at the same time, this October, I think I might want to do it.
Go
So
for it.
yeah, in-person events have not gone away.
No, no, they're all here.
Well, I know you got things to do later on today, and I don't want to hold you. Is there anything that you want us to know about a Star Events or you and your services or in-person events?
So well, I don't even know. I think we talked about the blog post that I did, that I have on my website, but I didn't have a chance to promote it or anything. So I'm going to share a link with you, so maybe you can share with your mailing list if it's any helpful. I basically just created a list, like a checklist for myself. For the in-person booth setup at the event. So, because I worked with the client who basically set up a booth at the event, and I did everything remotely. So that was a fun project to figure it out, and I had only 18 days. So
Wow.
set up a booth. So yeah, this is something that I thought it could be useful, because I source like a lot of things online, but I put together my list. So I think that's the one thing that I just want to share with everyone. And if you find it helpful, I'm glad. I do have a couple of clients that I'm working with right now, but if you feel that you need help with your strategy, or with any advice, you want me to look at your event, and maybe we can just have a conversation, like a consulting conversation, for like 1 hour or something like that, please feel free to hit me up. Yeah, so A Star Events is looking forward to meeting you and helping you out. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me, Erica. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I want everyone to know that Ala is great at event marketing. Definitely check out our webpage. I am going to link the blog post. It will be in the email, but I will also put it on all the platforms that we are streaming to now. So thank you for your time, Ala.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.